Good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in to Marketscale Live. I'm your host, Tim Maitland, and today we're coming at you with another great episode. Appreciate that you're here. Reminder, this is live. This is supposed to be a community. It's supposed to be fun. So in the comment section there on the side, tell stories, ask questions, inspire one another. This is an escape for the next 30 minutes to learn great information around how we can all be better in the world of B2B. Now, in the world of B2B, there's a problem, and that problem is bad. The problem is your customers are bored. That's right, I said it. Everybody's thinking it, and I've said it. Your customers are bored. They're bored because when they're at home every night, they have original content on demand, and they're able to escape and entertain themselves at a whole new level. When they're working out, they're able to tune into podcasts, and they're able to educate themselves around their hobbies and interests in such an engaging way. And those same people, when they come into the office every morning, they sit down at their desk and they need to make purchasing decisions, and they need to review material. They're stuck with technical material, they're stuck reading blogs, and they have advertisements following them all over the place. And that's not okay. So there's two types of companies today. There's the companies who realize that they need to create that original experience and publish that content on their channels to truly inspire their buyers. And then there's the companies who go the traditional route and they let younger companies who play the other game run past them. Today, we're going to talk about how every B2B company can use original content and how you can publish this on your channels to grow. And my guest today, I have to give them a shout out because I truly think they're one of the most innovative companies in B2B when it comes to original content and original media channels. He's the director of marketing for America's New Markets with Microdrones. Everybody, please meet Bret Burghdurf. Bret, good afternoon. How are you today?
Doing good, Tim. Thanks for having me today. I got to say that opening presentation was great. I might have to steal that for some of my other presentations.
I think so. You're going to have to find a way to, anytime you walk into a room or a restaurant, that plays on the screens at your walkout video from here on out.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Well, hey, I'm excited that you're here, Bret. Really excited that everybody's going to be able to learn directly from you today. You know, we are in a time, obviously, during the quarantine. Now it's coming out, but we've seen a period to where more content is streamed on demand than ever. So what's some of the family content that your family's been tuning in? Let's get some good recommendations to the audience so we can watch stuff in our free time.
Sure. Well, I'm home with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. She just turned 6. So we're watching a lot of the Disney Channel, a lot of YouTube. There's all sorts of crazy YouTube videos that these girls love to watch. And of course, lots of Netflix, all sorts of different programming. So most of the time when you wake up early in the morning and you get home from work, they get to rule the roost a little bit. But then once they go to bed, my wife and I will also watch some Netflix. We've been watching Disney Plus a little bit. They got the new Mandalorian Star Wars show. We enjoyed that. So we'll listen to some podcasts. So we've been keeping busy. There's definitely a plethora of content.
There you go. Very good. Yeah, there's definitely endless amount out there, and it's truly inspiring people in the B2B world to think how they can bring endless content to their businesses. But you know, before we jump into a little bit about what Microdrones is doing, Bret, obviously you're extremely creative, and people are going to learn just how creative you are with a lot of the programs you've launched. But to get that creativity, I imagine there's a lot of brands that you follow in your personal life. Maybe you purchased, or maybe you just like to follow their storytelling. But what are some of those companies in your personal life that give you the inspiration that you bring into B2B?
Well, probably one of the ones that jumps out first, I might not have been willing to talk about 20 to 25 years ago, but I was a comic book fan growing up. One day when my dad came home from school, he brought a stack of comic books that were left over in the library, and I looked through them, and I kind of fell in love with Spider-Man, and it was my little, secret obsession reading comic books. And nowadays, you look at Marvel, and they become this giant brand, this behemoth. They're all over the movies. Disney acquired them, so you can watch any of the different cartoons, movies, and digital channels. Mm-hmm. So they're pretty impressive to think that, back in the late 30s and early 40s, they were just
absolutely
a cheap comic book that you could pick up at a newsstand. And now they've grown and they have digital copies. They have their graphic novels, and you can also watch the blockbuster movies that they come out with, and they make billions of dollars. So it's been pretty neat to see how the Marvel brand has grown and really dominated the box office, and right down to your lunch boxes at home.
It's true. And, they do such a nice job of episodic content where they obviously break apart each superhero and they create that universe of how they fall in together. And guess what? They stream on a media channel. Disney owns them. And props to Disney. I mean, look at a company who expanded the way that they're able to entertain their audience. It used to just be the amusement park and then big movie productions that got released maybe once a year, maybe every 6 months. But now they're allowing people to partake in the Disney experience literally from the comfort of their home. And like you said, your daughters are tuning into Disney every day, and it's becoming a family experience that you guys partake in every single evening.
Yeah, and it's fun. I've even turned my 6-year-old into a Spider-Man fan too. So we'll watch some of the cartoons together, and she'll watch the movies, and we have a good time. So it's fun to tune into the streaming, and it's nice to see all the original content that they do have.
That's great. And, things like Marvel and what they're doing, they've primed our minds in B2B to be so used to episodic content. When you look at what Microdrones is doing, it's truly phenomenal. You have a B2B reality TV show. That's right, B2B reality TV. It's just what you would think on Bravo, where they focus on different industries and people. They do that for survey and mapping. So Bret, talk a little bit about what Down to Earth is and how this idea of launching your own B2B reality show came to be.
I think the best way to do that is probably to talk about the evolution of some of our videos. I know before I started at Microdrones, they came out with this really exciting video of one of our systems crossing the Alps. And the reason they made that video at the time was because they wanted to show that our systems are rugged and reliable and they can fly a good distance. And watching that video was neat. They had helicopters following the drones and cars chasing it on the ground, and they were in touch with each other, and it was pretty impressive. So then Microdrones took the next step, and now they wanted to talk about their payloads and how they integrated all the systems to create successful products. So they went internally, and they had some of their sales managers and R&D development teams create these videos that talked about the workflow of plan, fly, process, and visualize. And that way you could see what the systems are doing, how they're integrated, and what their benefits are. The next step was basically to take those out in the field and let's get our customers' reaction and partner with some of our end users and distributors to see how they're using our systems in the field. So now instead of making workflow videos with our internal team, we were going out and making these videos with actual customers, watching them do different case studies and seeing how they were doing their planning, their flying, and then the final visualizations and processes. So that was great. And what happened with one of our customers, we were working with Craft and Tull, making one of these final workflow videos. And when we were all done, we were kind of hanging out, and they told us about some of the different stories they experienced when they were out in the field. So you can imagine they're out there surveying, and maybe they come across a snake in the grass, or they got to deal with the different bugs and insects. One of the stories they said is they came across a hunter in a stand, and you can imagine he wasn't too happy to have them, uncover him while he was trying to do his hunt.
No.
So we thought to ourselves, that's when the light bulb went off. Wow, that's what our customers want to see. That's how we can connect with surveyors, because they've all had that experience. So basically, that's where the idea to Down to Earth came into play, where we can make a show like Alaskan Gold or the Discovery series with the Dangers at Sea. And we partnered with Craft and Tull, as you can see on screen, and did this great presentation where we followed them in the field for 3 days and captured them doing a mission and really planning how they use our surveying equipment to help with challenging objectives. And what was really nice about it is not only do we help showcase our systems, but we also showcase their work and the work of our distributors. So it becomes a really unique partnership where we're all working together.
See, and I love that you create such an ecosystem, and think about how that empowers, your channels that you work with, and think about the distribution, because they're going to share that out now too. And that's what's so powerful about episodic content. It's so easy for it to go viral in your industry. Now, the listeners that might be listening to what you just said, they might think, well, that's so technical or that's so niche. But you know what? it's storytelling. And the people in the survey and mapping world, they're entertained by that because they have the same stories. They see themselves in these characters' shoes. I mean, I've seen all the episodes. It's pretty phenomenal as you have these larger than life guys, flying drones around the Ozarks, and they're driving these, Ranger vehicles through these river streams, and they're having a great time. So, how is your sales team use content like that to help them sell and to help them, communicate Microdrones capability, since it's not even really focused on your product?
Well, I think that's one of the neat things about creating original content like that, is then you can use that content in a number of different ways. And one of the first things we did is we actually took those 3 episodes and we premiered them in a webinar. And with that webinar, we invited both Nick and Jeff from Craft and Tull, and we also had the distributor Ross join us, and we did a full presentation about the challenges, the planning, and as you can see here, we looked at the deliverables on screen and how they were able to put this all together. So by channeling this into a webinar, now we're able to share this and get this out to different customers and prospects and try to get them to learn more about it and see how our systems can be successful, especially in challenging terrain like that. Furthermore, what we can do is we'll take that content and then we can share the replay. So if you missed it during the webinar, you can watch it again the second time. We'll write articles about it. We'll turn it into a blog. And what's neat is it kind of develops its own life. So now other end users and other distributors see this material and they get excited by it. And they'll contact us and find out, how can I be part of the next one? What different content can I help create? So that's where it really starts to evolve and get even more fun. And we're actually working on our next Down to Earth presentation right now. And we've got a couple more waiting in the wings. So if anyone out there who's watching and is a customer of ours or a distributor, we welcome your input. We're looking forward to your projects to see how we can help you tell your own Down to Earth story.
Definitely. You used a key word in there. It's a basic word, but it's the key word. It's fun. It's fun. I remember when I was playing baseball, my coaches always said, hey, it's a game, just have fun. And we all got into marketing to have fun. We got into marketing to tell stories. We got into marketing to make a difference in the industries that we're in. And, putting up AdWords, having retargeted ads. When was the last time that, your heart was pumping when you put that up? When was the last time that you got a pat on your back and, that was a great ad? What you're getting to do, Bret, is you are producing extremely powerful content. So just how empowering is that for you as a marketer in your career, to being able to say, hey, I've produced episodic content and it's made a huge difference in my industry?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's something you're proud of, because I'm proud of the previous marketing videos we made, because they serve a purpose. They get the information out about your systems, and there's still a great way to build relationships with your customers and distributors. But now they've got something fun and exciting to watch. I remember I came home, I shared it with my family and said, look what we made. Internally, the employees, other sales managers, they liked it, and they're sharing it with their teams and their customers. So we're looking forward to creating more content like that, and then getting it out through different streams so that other ideas can come up that we can build on as well.
Definitely. And that parlays nicely into the conversation of rent versus own, right? What you keep mentioning is the compounding channels and results that these videos are able to have. It's because you own it. And that's the idea of original media. Create original content to your brand that tells stories, publish it on your own channels, and then all of these earned media outlets are going to continue to share it and grow that exposure. Now, something the B2B world's very excited about, something I'm personally excited about, is the power of live video. I mean, here we are right now, in Dallas, Texas, myself, upstate New York, yourself, and we're having this great conversation. Microdrones is adopting live into your solutions, and you're doing some pretty creative outlets with it. So what are your plans as a company to use live, not just now, but ongoing, to communicate with your audience?
Well, one of the nice things about doing things live like this is you get to interact in real time with customers, prospects, and even some of your own internal employees. So one of the things that we're putting together, and we'll be broadcasting live on June 30th, is a brand new surveying game show called Surveyor Says. And this is something brand new. We've done webinars, and the way that this came up was, with the current state of affairs and the way the world is, the past 2 or 3 months, everyone's been at home. And I don't know about you, Tim, but my inbox is filled up with different offers to watch this webinar or learn how to do marketing better and join our webinar. And we've done a number of webinars as well. So the idea was, what can we do that will help us stand out? Again, be fun, and then involve some of our distributors and our salespeople and create some really engaging content. And we came up with the idea for a surveying quiz show. All right, and we put together different trivia questions, true and false answers, did some timing, and we came up with a great 30-second quiz show. And we interspersed some of our Microdrones content. There's a promo for Down to Earth. We talk about our new Microdrones as a service video. But in between, we're having fun. And at the end, you'll see who the winner is. But the cool part is when you register on June 30th, you can play along live and answer the questions. And then we'll also pick some random winners who participated. So it's just something different and engaging, and it's going to be a fun way for everyone to interact with Microdrones, help find some more prospects for us, help our distributors join in on the fun, and develop those relationships.
And it's incredible. I mean, talk about original. We're talking about a B2B game show that's going to have live participants. And the name's fantastic, Surveyor Says. Love that. But, you know, how do you have the guts? I mean, at what moment as a marketer do you say to your, fellow leaders, fellow executives saying, hey, we need to do a game show? How do you have the courage to bring that to your team? Because a lot of people would love to do that, but it's such a unique concept in the world we play in.
Well, we're fortunate that our executive staff has a lot of faith in the marketing that we do, and we've built some great content. And you can see, if you go to our YouTube channel, we have our MDTV, we have our News LiDAR blog. There's lots of information in there, and they understand that content helps drive creation, helps bring in new customers, and helps get everyone into our system. So when you come up with an idea like a game show, yeah, it might be a little bit out there, but fortunately, because we have great relationships with our distributors, they were willing to participate. So we took those relationships, we told them what we were planning on doing. They liked the idea. We came up with the questions. Everyone got on board. And now, 2 weeks from now, here we are. We're going to broadcast our first live game show. So it came out really well, and we're excited to get feedback now.
So you touched on it a little bit, supporting sales, getting new contacts. Let's answer the question here in the chat of, how exactly does this support sales? If you could walk through the nitty gritty of, the funnel that you're going to see this drive, I think our listeners would love to hear that.
Sure. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and market this game show for the next 2 weeks. Right, and we'll use Google retargeting. We'll put news blogs out there. We've got some promos that we'll run on YouTube. And the idea is to get everyone to come in and register to watch this show. And we want them to enjoy it and have fun and get involved with that content. But we're also collecting prospects and leads, which will funnel out to our different sales managers all across the world. All right. Once that game show is aired, we want to follow up with people who participated. We want to find out your opinion, and we want to find out how you can use drones to make your workflow easier, safer, and more efficient. So that's why, beyond just putting these shows together, having fun, and delivering creative, original content, at the end of the day, we're also marketing our systems, promoting Microdrones, and trying to find new sales and new users that can take advantage of our programs and integrated systems.
Exactly. And in the end, anything that marketing does, it's obviously to support sales. That's marketing's job, is to support sales, to grow the business. And when you have original ideas like Surveyor Says, it's such a great way to differentiate your brand, to get people to engage. And it almost creates FOMO, fear of missing out, for the people that don't attend, because this is such an innovative concept in the world of surveying, mapping, and drone technology and so on. So, let's kind of take a step off of that and really kind of go into, what do you think marketers who are stuck in a little bit of the traditional route, why do you think it's hard to make that first leap to saying, all right, I'm going to stop the ads, I'm going to stop the technical, and I'm going to focus more on original episodic content? What do you think is hard about making that step? Or is it easy? You just need to do it?
I think a lot of times people get stuck in a rut. They're doing the same thing over and over. They've got a system that they kind of plug and play into, and they're probably getting results. They're happy, and maybe they're a little bit afraid to step outside of the box. But once you do step outside of the box and put together some of these different ideas and programs, it opens up all sorts of different possibilities. And you find yourself in the back of an ATV riding down a river, putting together a really interesting show about a surveyor using your system in the middle of the Ozarks. So once you open yourself up to those possibilities and get creative, I think you'd be surprised with some of the different results that you can gather from coming up with new original marketing content. That's what happened when we finished Down to Earth. And as I said, one of the cool things about that is now we've got other distributors who are ready to participate with us. They want to feature their success stories, talk about some of their case studies, and it just opens up other avenues for more content. So one of the things we'll be doing with our next Down to Earth episode is, instead of doing the webinar ex post facto, we're going to do it right on the third day, where we sit down with everyone in a conference room while it's still fresh in their mind and talk about the whole day, talk about the challenges they faced, and then go over the final visuals and deliverables and really take a hard look at the data that they processed and show the success of the project. And being able to do that with everyone all together, we'll be able to turn that into another nice webinar piece of content that's going to help fill the sales funnel. It's going to feature the distributor, it'll feature the end user, and it ties everyone together very, very nicely.
Perfect. So Bret, let's say I'm a marketer, I'm watching this, and I'm on the edge of my seat and I'm thinking, I've wanted to do this. I've wanted to take the stride, but I don't want to get shut down. If the CEO asks me, how am I going to track results? I don't know the answer to that. So let's hear a good pump up talk here from Bret, right to a marketer who's thinking that way. What advice can you give them to put themselves out there and just go tackle it and make it happen?
Sure. Well, you want to, one of the nice advantages that we have is we have a great team that already works together. Right. So everyone in the marketing department of Microdrones will brainstorm these great ideas and we'll come up with something. And then we have partners that we can work with. So if you have a great team and then you have some customers and partners that are also willing to go out on the ledge a little bit, have a microphone attached to them and a camera crew following them for 2 or 3 days, they can do the same type of program and put it together and come up with something unique and original that people are going to want to learn more about. And that's the hook. Once they want to learn more about it, now you can feature it through all your different marketing channels. All right, we call that our marketing octopus. So whether the tentacles of that octopus are feeding news stories out through YouTube, through trade magazines and publications, through podcasts, our blogs, you have all these different channels now where you can feature that story. You just have to get there and be willing to tell it and step out on the ledge, get outside of the box, and come up with something really unique and interesting.
So would you say, is it safe to say that consumer content and B2B content truly lives in the same ecosystem now? Are they still in two different worlds?
I think it depends on where you work, but if you're willing to work together between both of them, they definitely blend well, and it's going to help increase your sales, increase your marketing content, and work really well together.
Definitely. And you know what I think, in the end, it's just human to human, right? Whether we're buying something in our profession, whether we're buying something in our personal life, if there's emotions involved, if there's stories involved, it's going to get us to be bigger fans of that product. And we're going to want to spend the premium. We're going to understand the total cost of ownership. And when the buyer has that, that makes all the difference.
And,
so,
and it boils down to relationships too. I mean, you talk about human to human.
Yes.
Not only are we developing those relationships on screen or on the page, we're reaching out to our distributors. We're getting them involved. We're helping marketing their goods and services while we're also promoting our own. And at the same time, if they have customers and end users that are getting involved, then they can show off what they're doing. So it really does build relationships, get you out in the open, and create awesome original content.
Definitely. And that's what it's all about. Well, Bret, we really enjoyed having you here today. Obviously, your thought leadership and innovation's next level when you're talking B2B reality and game shows, but you're going to see more and more companies do this. And the companies who take that leap, they will be rewarded. So very excited to have you here. Any last kind of hot takes or any thoughts here before I let you get back to it today?
Well, this was a lot of fun. I'm so glad you invited me today. I'd like to let everyone who's watching know that next Wednesday, we're actually going to be having another webinar. It's going to be our UAV mining webinar where we're digging into LiDAR. We've got a great case study that talks about a coal mine that decided to use our MD LiDAR 1000 to see if they could efficiently use LiDAR from a drone to do their work faster and safer. So be sure to check that out next Wednesday. You can register right on microdrones.com. Then, as I mentioned earlier in today's show, June 30th is the debut of our big game show, Surveyor Says. You can register right at microdrones.com. Sign up today and be sure to play along. We're looking forward to getting your answers, seeing your scores, and having a great time.
Sounds great. Well, I'll be to both of them. I'll be there. Thanks a lot today, Bret.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun. Have a great day.
Absolutely. Take care. Till next time, y'all.